Over the past couple of years, the media and anime I consume has led to a significant realization. I'm getting older. The happy-go-lucky characters I once admired are now younger than me. The heroes who fueled my imagination are either my peers or juniors. I used to fantasize about possessing their powers and embarking on their adventures. But when did those fantasies simply just become fantasies? I remember waking up early on Saturday, grabbing a bowl of cereal, and settling in for 4Kids or Cartoon Network. The feeling of wonder, of seeing my favorite characters embark on another grand adventure, was incredible. As I watched my mom head to work, wishing her a good day, I was hyped to see Yuji defeat another opponent, Ben transform into another alien, or Mega's power up to face another threat. Where did that sense of wonder go? There's a video I saw that says, "You become the dad because you're the one leaving at 5 a.m. That became a stark reality for me. Waking up at 3:36 a.m. to get ready for work, the house was cold and everyone was still asleep. As I headed to my car and the cold air hit my breath, I looked up at the sky and realized I was an adult. I think we take our wonder and imagination for granted. That's just the reality of it. There was likely a time when you felt the most creative, when the world felt like this huge sandbox, and you stood at the edge, ready to charge at it wholeheartedly. The world was yours for the taking, and you would face an obstacle head on. I haven't entirely given up on that mindset. I just got hit with reality more and more. But maybe I'm not so different from all my favorite characters after all. I see a bit of these different characters in all different people who come and go in my life, particularly in those who don't want me to succeed. They aren't purely villains, but they carry pessimism and negativity, attempting to infect my world. The rush of proving them wrong is invigorating. I can feel myself breathe clearly, my heart races, and I slap a smile on my face as I carry on. I think that's what essential lesson I've learned. I can't just give up because life moves on with or without me. Every time a manga ends, there's usually a time skip where we see our protagonists and supporting cast older. I find it refreshing each time. We see the struggles and trials of life or specific scenarios in each world. Some characters don't make it to the end or find their own closure, which I think is true to life. No one lives forever. As the characters age, we see them develop into functioning adults. Some start families, others set off to discover more about themselves. I think we can all relate to having people come and go in our lives. Whether it's due to falling out or simply naturally growing apart, there are people I would personally like to catch up with, but I believe we're all in different parts in our lives. This thought was brought up by seeing the recent ending of My Hero Academia. I was a fan, but the ending was bittersweet. The details that stuck with me was that Deku was 25, my age. It felt like, damn, so it's really over now? We're the same age? Kind of moment. One of the best show endings I can recall is the regular show finale. The crew returns from space after being gone for months, everyone returning except Pops. David Bowie's Heroes plays a perfect track to end the show. We see a montage of the cast growing older, starting their own families and following career paths, and in Skip's case, enjoying a mortal life. They all had their families and celebrated taking a picture with Pops' statue, the man who made it all possible. If that's not tear-jerking, I don't know what is. The scene closes out with a VHS tape ejecting from a TV in what is presumed to be heaven, with Pops' iconic line playing. This finale aired right as I turned 18, and I think it made me excited to start my own life, to live something bigger than myself. Life felt like a new journey, and I had an idea of what path I wanted to take. What a whirlwind that year was. I had to worry about school, work, and balancing social life. I also came out of a toxic relationship where I was cheated on, which was its own struggle, but I got over it and moved on. I think the part that isn't widely taught or wasn't told to me was that you're essentially on your own after high school. You have to be accountable for going to class in college, paying bills, and making time for yourself. I don't think I was ready to tackle life head on. Looking back, I made so many mistakes. Sometimes I wonder if I can go back and redo things. I tell myself to enjoy things, enjoy life, and enjoy my youth. I think I was honestly lost and stuck in my own head. I was my own foil. I was drawn to a life full of escapism and avoiding things directly. And with my constant overthinking, I was watching so much anime. The element that always captured me was how much spirit those characters had, something I was sorely lacking at that point in my life. As I sat there watching My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen, the realization that I was getting older kept echoing in my head, and I was thinking, holy shit, where did my determination go? Where did that wonder of getting older go? Where was my drive to go farther? I think it was a mixture of being heartbroken and being disillusioned about being an adult in an adult world. I was comparing myself to my classmates who graduated with me, and what they were doing. I thought being busy and doing what a regular college student does would be fulfilling, but I wasn't happy, I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't fulfilled. As a college student, watching these animes with protagonists who are younger than me felt like a far cry from my college age. There was a period of time where I stopped watching because I just couldn't relate anymore, and I told myself I was grown for it. The anime that pulled me back was Samurai Champloo. Oh man, this is probably my favorite anime of all time. It had older protagonists and an honestly unmatched soundtrack. The opening is still one of the hardest to date. It combined two things I didn't think worked well: anime and hip-hop. Mugen was always my favorite character. The brash and unapologetic attitude made me want to low-key match that in a way I did. The whole show was about chasing a sunflower samurai. This is a metaphor for happiness. The whole show was one big journey that wrapped up everyone's story. Jin and Mugen wanted to fight to the death at the start, but by the end, they came to understanding and saw each other as friends. It had some good life lessons with each episode, and each little arc felt like an isolated story, but with our protagonist developing each time. It was one of those shows that left me thinking, and as a young adult, I think I needed that. My favorite superhero of all time is Spider-Man. I think we all know who he is. We've seen his origin story many times, and we all know the classic, "With great power comes great responsibility" scene. I think I always related because he felt like the most down-to-earth hero. We see his struggle as a high schooler balancing classes and his acts of heroism. His story impacted me more than when I played Spider-Man PS4, made by Insomniac. This story is about Peter, who was a young adult in his 20s. He was broke and balancing everything he originally was, but as an adult. I played this game like I was a kid again, having already played the previous games. This one felt smoother and felt like a true Spider-Man experience. The world felt alive, and the ability to interact with the world meant I could explore for hours. By the end of the game, after having played one of the best games of all time, the ending was tragic. We got another "with great power comes great responsibility" moment, where Peter makes the hardest decision of saving his Aunt May or the world. It kinda made me think, what would I do in this situation? I guess by the end of it, I felt comfortable that my favorite hero was my age with similar struggles. Another example of an older protagonist is Kaiju number 8. I initially found this series because out of curiosity I looked up anime or manga with older protagonists, and this one came up. I found it refreshing to have an older lead in the typical shonen role. At first when I read volume 1, I didn't think I would like the story. It was very cookie cutter, but then we got to the reveal that Kafka was chasing his dream because he didn't want to give up on it. I guess I saw a bit of myself in that aspect. I too understood that lonely feeling where you want something, but you can't let anyone else keep you down. I understood what he was going through. It was a sobering feeling. Being content is dangerous. Life is full of opportunities. You just need the hunger. That part I can appreciate about the first couple of chapters. Kafka wanting to stand alongside his childhood friend who initially seemed distant, but remembers his promise to her all too well. It wasn't only to stand with her, but to fulfill his dream of joining the Japanese Defense Force. I think seeing an older protagonist was captivating because it can appeal to a person who feels like their dream is unattainable because they consider themselves old. The anime manga deserves its own videos, and I do recommend this one. My stepdad enjoys Dragon Ball, and I've asked why. He says it's like a fantasy where he can cheer Goku on. He feels what's happening on screen. As a man born in Mexico, there were different struggles. I don't think I'll ever fully understand what it was like growing up in his circumstances. He would tell me he'd wait for the next episode to air, and it felt like the whole country would stop to see the next episode. It would give him motivation and give him a role model to follow. He'd want to grow up to be relied upon, to have a family, and to be great. I sometimes catch him watching episodes of Super. I don't know how to fully explain it, but I see a child who didn't have much time to enjoy life and to be a kid. The older generation wasn't allowed to enjoy anything, and it's very apparent when talking to my folks about entertainment. I guess we aren't so different, and I think we both seek these things that make us happy, to see our heroes prosper and thrive. Overall, what I'm trying to say is that I'm glad I got the chance to experience these things. I haven't given up on my dreams and wants. I just got older and adapted. I still watch anime, play games, and read manga. I don't think that part will go away either, but my tastes will change, and that's okay. I'm actually looking forward to showing my own kids what I was into and seeing how our tastes clash. If I hear Battle Cry by Nujabes playing in my house, then I know I succeeded as a parent. I don't want to live with regrets, so to my inspirations, thank you for never giving up and never faltering, for the life lessons and comebacks, for the laughs, the tears, and the encouragement.
Well, you know, I gave it everything I had. But there's always gonna be someone better out there. Everyone has limits, and in the end, I ran straight into mine. Maybe you can't relate, but you'll get it when you're older.
No, I won't. I never give up, sir. I'll die before I get it.